Killing a person is both morally and legally wrong. This point of view is shared regardless of whatever form of religion you have, or from where country you came from, or to what kind of culture embraces you. Thou shalt not kill is arguably the most basic and moral legal principle in any society. Yet, some killers are ridiculed while others are chastised, others are absolved, and others acquitted, and still others are lauded while others are being lionized. The best example of this is the Dee Blackheart murder case. Dee Blackheart is murdered by her daughter Gypsy Rose Blackheart together with her daughter's boyfriend Nicholas Gudgeon. On 14th of June 2015, sheriff's deputy in Greene County, Missouri, United States found the body of Claudine Dee Blackheart face down in a bedroom of her house just outside Springfield, lying on a bed in a pool of blood from stab wounds inflicted several days earlier. There was no sign of her daughter, Gypsy Rose, who, according to Blackheart, suffered from chronic conditions including leukemia, asthma, muscular dystrophy, and he had a mental capacity of a 7-year-old due to brain damage she had suffered as a result of her premature birth. Sometime around 2015, let's go back from where it started. Gypsy, who continued to use the internet after her mother had gone to bed to avoid her tightened supervision, made contact with Nicholas Gudgeon, a man around her age from Big Bend, Wisconsin. They met on his Christian single group. Gudgeon had some issues of his own, a criminal record of indecent exposure and a history of mental illness, sometimes reported as dissociative identity disorder. He also had Asperger's syndrome. After the first meeting of Gypsy Rose and Nicholas, the two continued their interactions and began developing their plan to kill Dee Blackheart. Somewhere in June of 2015, Gypsy and her mother was away at a doctor's appointment. After they had returned home and Dee had gone to sleep, Gypsy asked Gudgeon to go to the Blackheart house. Gypsy allowed him and allegedly gave him duct tape, gloves, and a knife with the understanding that he would use it to murder Dee. In the given circumstances, it is indeed clear that at first the case was thought of as a homicide, but along the way of the investigation, it becomes a case of murder because it turns out that Gypsy Rose Blackheart, together with his boyfriend, conspired to plan Dee's death. The intent of the offenders to kill Dee qualifies and aggravates the circumstances. The intent to kill is an element of homicide and murder. Gypsy Rose also talks about the various ideas they had for murdering Dee, including the poisoning Dee, arson, and using a gun. She says that using a knife was Nick's idea during Gypsy Rose Blackheart testimony. She states that Nick originally wanted to use a machete, but she didn't think she could steal a knife that big from Walmart. One of the important thing is that we must also take into consideration the manner of the execution of the killing. It also falls into multiple qualifying circumstances. There are also rules to be considered that proves that the killing is attended by several qualifying circumstances. To it, the first is doctrine of absorption, wherein Gypsy and Nicholas plan to kill the victim during the nighttime as when they are expecting Dee to be sleeping. They took the advantage of the darkness of the night to render the victim defenseless. The crime committed falls under murder qualified by the circumstances of treachery. Dee Blackheart was attacked by Gudgeon and stabbed 17 times while sleeping. 9 times absorbed in treachery. And in one statement of Nicholas Gudgeon, he says that I wanted to make sure her mom wasn't going to harm her anymore. I made sure of that. These are the lines that aggravate the intention of Nicholas to kill Dee Blackheart. Gypsy Rose and Nicholas Gudgeon is rightfully to be charged with first degree of murder. But due to the mitigating circumstances of the abuse of Didi to Gypsy pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. In July of 2016, a judge sentenced her to a 10-year in prison sentence. While on the other hand, Gajin was convicted of first-degree murder and armed criminal action in late 2018. He now will spend life in prison for the murder charge and 25 years for the armed criminal action. The two will run concurrently.